Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I want to know what's on your mind. The world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host, and Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Wellness Wednesday, which is an opportunity for you and me and my guests to chat about some interesting topic. And tonight's topic is on business mentorship and collaboration. Business mentorship and collaboration. What is that and what does it look like? What does business mentorship and business collaboration look like? And so my very special guest has a new position. She's not new to her organization, which is Domi Station, but she is now the executive director. Miss Kara Holbert is the executive director of Domi Station. So this is actually some hot off the press news. You all are getting exclusively here on Conversations with Nicole tonight. And so I'm super excited and delighted to have her here on as my guest. But before I bring her on, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? If you will, let us know in the comments. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. So tag a friend, like, share, tag them, let them know they need to be on here. This is an interactive live, and we absolutely want to hear from you. Anybody that is thinking about starting a business, or maybe you have a business and you are a solopreneur, this would be a great conversation for you to have to see how you can maybe level up your business. So I see a few of you are already chiming in. My mom is on in Miami. Thank you for being here, Mom. We also have Mr. Michael D. Love in Jacksonville. Good evening, everyone. Good vibes. Yes, sir. I appreciate you so much. So others will be joining us, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and share Miss Holbert's bio with you. Kara is a collaborator, mentor, speaker, and ecosystem builder. Her background includes a business administration degree from Flagler College with many years of experience in marketing, product management, and technical assistance, but finds economic development a true passion. Perhaps most importantly, Mrs. Holbert is herself a current entrepreneur, being the co-owner of House of Cards, Florida, a specialty retail-based store in Tallahassee, Florida, that features die-cast cars from toys to collectibles. From her work at Domi and as a co-owner of the family-owned House of Cards, Florida, Kara knows firsthand the daily grind of everyday businesses, what the current business and economic landscape looks and feels like, as well as an understanding of scalable and high-tech innovation. So y'all help me welcome Mrs. Kara Holbert. Yay!
Oh, thank you so much for having me today.
You are so welcome. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so for those who may not know you personally, give us a little bit about who Kara is. Not what you do, but who are you?
Ugh, it's such a hard question. I'm sure everyone tells you that.
They do.
Well, I guess first and foremost, I'm, just a woman trying to figure out her way through life and all the obstacles and, great things that come with that. So first and foremost, I'm a mother and I'm a wife, and I do a lot of things in between all of that. So I'm, I came from a somewhat compromised background, but had a very strong support system, and all those experiences helped to shape who I am today. So.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit of your history. We appreciate that and a little bit about who you are. Tell folks that, again, may not be familiar, just what Domi Station is and who it serves.
So Domi Station is a private nonprofit here in Tallahassee, Florida. We are based in between FSU and FAMU campus off of Railroad Avenue. And our physical space houses a co-working facility, which isn't necessarily for entrepreneurs. Anyone can co-work out of Domi, whether you work for a large corporation or are an entrepreneur yourself. And then on top of that, we actually have an incubator program for small businesses. And specifically, we cater to businesses who are early stage. So those who are in the idea stage or recently launched who need a little bit of extra help as far as education goes. And I like to use an example of like a house painter. So maybe he works for someone else and he sees, hey, there's this whole other demographic, neighborhood that we could, go after. And maybe his boss is like, yeah, no, I'm old. I don't want to do that. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. He's like, no, I think I'd be really great at it. But maybe he's never been to college. Maybe he went to college for art history. Who knows, right? But he never had the business basics needed to really start and launch a business. And that's kind of where Domi comes in for that.
Indeed, indeed. Okay. So I'm going to poll up the viewers real quick and see how many of you have used Domi for either the incubator or any of some of the other services. They have some great workshops that they host. Women Wednesday was born out of Domi Station. And so is Women Wednesday still doing some co-working?
They are, absolutely.
Okay.
We
So
love Women Wednesdays.
yes, so maybe you've went to a Women Wednesday event. So let us know in the comments if you have been to Domi and have utilized some of the services. I'm going to raise my hand to say yes, I am a Domi fan and have utilized a number of the things that have gone on there. I've been to a couple of pitch competitions there, which is always quite fascinating and interesting to see how folks, talk about themselves and their business. And as well as, again, Women Wednesday, been a longtime fan of that. And so, and I, is it a thousand cups or it was
1,000,000 cups.
okay. All right. And I don't know all of the names of the programs, but I have definitely, attended several. So you all do a really great job of just keeping us informed and doing some innovative things to, just put entrepreneurs and business owners out there. And just, it's just such a welcoming environment. So.
Absolutely. We try to cater to, all walks of life here, and anyone who's interested in business or entrepreneurship is definitely welcome here.
Indeed, indeed. So I see we have a few folks that have joined us. We have Mr. Joseph Ward of On the Shoulders of Giants, who is here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. And Miss Keosha Forston, thank you for being here as well. She said, congratulations on your well-earned new role.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And Keosha said, yes, I've participated in the incubator cohorts. Domi is a great resource in our community for entrepreneurs. All right. So you got some kudos there. All right. So let's get going with business mentorship. I think that's a great place to start. How important is that for startups?
I would say it's one of the key pieces that really helps early stage entrepreneurs become small businesses and stay in business. Mentorship is absolutely one of the most important things that you can do for yourself in your business, to make sure that you are adhering to, one, your own goals, and two, just kind of figuring out the landscape itself. It's extremely frightening, to be quite frank, to venture off on your own, right? And to have to rely on yourself every day to show up with multiple hats. And so it's really important to have people alongside you who are advocates for you and can provide, key information that can help you make informed business decisions. So you always want to have people around you who are smarter than you, right? So, who are those people? Find those people and get them in your circle. Mentorship is absolutely one of the most invaluable things that you can have in your startup or entrepreneurial journey.
Now, is it important to have a mentor that's in the same sector of business that you're in?
Yes and no. I mean, absolutely, whoever is that you can find that's kind of beyond where you are at your point, who can provide some insight like into your particular industry. But it's also very important to have people around you who are in skill sets that you lack, right? So maybe you don't have a very large legal background. So when legal issues come up, who are you going to rely on, right? Like, you can't necessarily rely on your own knowledge because you lack in that particular area. I mean, most of us haven't gone to law school, so it's very important to have people who are varied in different topics around you to help support you.
Okay, that makes sense. And so, in terms of, identifying these particular mentors, it may be a little awkward to, you know, observe someone and say, "Hey, would you be my mentor?" So how would you recommend an entrepreneur or business person do something like that? Because that might seem a little strange, because maybe this is a stranger, or somebody that you don't know necessarily personally.
I mean, yes, it's a little awkward, but the business community here in Tallahassee is very close. So as an entrepreneur myself, you get a lot of naysayers, unfortunately, from your close friends and family. They're like, "What are you doing? Are you sure you want to do this?" Right? But most of the support that I have found in the community has been with other business people, other people who are small business owners who may or may not be in my particular industry. So really, I think that the business community as a whole is very welcoming. And so it may feel a little awkward at first to be like, "Hey, can I ask you a few questions? I have this challenge that I'm currently facing." And you'd be surprised. Many are very willing to help you. So, it's awkward, but, just kind of take the jump and ask people who are maybe a little outside your circle. And I think you'll find very quickly that they become part of your inner circle.
Indeed. And so, have you yourself had a business mentor?
I have. I do have quite a few. There's, of course, Barbara Westcott with Women Wednesdays. She's a great advocate and supporter of all women in business. So I talk with her. There's quite a few. I could probably spend all day long mentioning all of them. But yes, there's quite a few. And, quite a few that I've met through Domi. In fact, most of them is where I've met them. Domi itself has a mentorship network that we rely on for our incubation members to ask questions. And so myself as an entrepreneur have asked them questions as well, outside of my, little box at Domi.
Right. Have you served as a mentor for a business?
Yes. Especially for those who haven't quite launched, and have very specific questions about maybe marketing or setting up a budget. I love a good spreadsheet. I'm a little nerdy like that. So,
Okay.
I try not to get into too many specifics about their business because that's kind of a learning curve for people. But if they're like, hey, I can't set this up, right? Or I'm having trouble with this, I absolutely try to provide any insight that I have personally through my own experience.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. I see we have Miss Javon Mobley who has joined us. Mobley who has joined us in Atlanta. Thank you for being here. And Maria Jones is here in Tallahassee as well. Thank you for joining us. So, all right. So you talked about Domi and the incubator and the mentorship pool, I guess, that you all pull from. What would you say would be a good place to maybe identify outside of Domi? Be a good place to identify some mentors.
So, our ecosystem as a whole, that's a big fancy word we would like to use here,
Mhm.
for entrepreneurship ecosystem, right? There's quite a few organizations throughout our community that are here to support entrepreneurs and their ventures. Whether you're a cupcake maker or you have some high-tech app that you're trying to launch, right? So my suggestion would be to go to any and all networking events that you can find through those other organizations, including Domi. So there's JMI, there's JMC, I could go on and on. Capital City Chamber, Big Bend Minority Chamber, Tallahassee Chamber itself. There's so many different opportunities to meet people and to have people help make an impact on you and your business. And it really just is a matter of getting out there and talking to people.
Indeed. So definitely networking, definitely getting involved with the chambers. There are other networks. She mentioned JMI. So for those of you who are familiar with that, it's the Jim Moran Institute. Working Class Wednesday is also another networking group that puts out, different events in the community that are business focused. And so, you know, again, that's another great way to connect with potential mentors that are in your business sector or, as she said, lack skills that you may lack. So let me poll our viewers and see how many of you have a business mentor or serve as a business mentor. If you don't mind, in the comments, let us know. And for those of you who may be checking out the replay, let us know if you either are a business mentor or have a business mentor. Let us know. I will raise my hand and say that I have a business mentor, and I run things by him quite often. Just to kind of get some feedback on some ideas I may have about my business and do some brainstorming sometimes as relates to my business. All right. Maria said both. Okay. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. All right. We have Miss Jeanette on in Miami Gardens. Thank you for being here, Miss Jeanette. She said, I have a business mentor. Okay. Very good. Nice, 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 nice. All right. And so I think, as you have stated earlier, Kara, that it's nice to have somebody that you can go in on this, business venture, conducting business, go in it with someone from the standpoint of having somebody that you can talk to and just, be like a comrade, if you will, in this struggle, right? Because it can be difficult.
Yeah. It can be difficult.
Mm.
I mean, when I launched my business, it felt like having a new baby. Like I was so tired, just so many days and nights, like filled with worry and, all the things that needed to get done. So it's really helpful to have someone who has been there already and knows the struggles and can kind of help you be that voice of reason when you're like, why am I doing this? Like, did I make a huge mistake?
Right.
Ultimately you're doing what you're passionate about. And so, it's helpful, like I said, to have someone there to remind you of that.
Indeed. All right. We got Mr. Quasi Branch who is on with us. Peace and blessings to you, brother. He is in Atlanta, GA. Thank you for joining us. So, as it relates to business mentorship, I have been told, and actually, this has been kind of mentorship in general, that there's kind of a give and take that takes place with that. It's not that you, as the mentee, are just taking from the mentor, right? And so, talk a little bit about what that should be like, or maybe some of what your experience has been like.
So I think that the mentor mentee relationship is really, double sided. Like, right, like we both are complementing each other. So there's going to be some people that you talk to that you just don't connect with, right? And may not have your best interests in mind. But in the flip side, the mentorship partnership should be equal to some extent. You should provide some give and take to that relationship as well. So it's really important that, obviously that you're not taking too much of their time, but when you do meet with them, that you're able to provide some insight to them as well. And it can be a very, like I said, like a symbiotic relationship. So they feel, obviously that they're doing some good deed by helping you. And in the same token, you do that as well. In fact, a lot of these mentorships blossom into lifelong friendships. So you end up kind of, in a way, becoming mentors to one another to some degree.
Yes. Almost, it can sometimes turn into somewhat of an accountability um, partnership or relationship. I actually had someone who's an accountability partner, and now we are more like mentors to one another.
Yes, absolutely. So as you learn and grow as a person and a entrepreneur and a small business owner, you're going to have some feedback and insight that you can provide to your mentor at some point. Just through those conversations, I think, naturally you lend to one another, right? So it's at the beginning, yes, it's always going to be them to some extent saying, I think you should do this. And this would be a really great opportunity for you as you build your confidence, right? And your skill set. And then once you've achieved a certain level of confidence and skill set, that conversation becomes back and forth. It's not so much one-sided.
Yes. Okay, cool. So let's transition a little bit to the collaboration piece, because actually, really, I think mentorship, part of that can evolve into collaboration potentially. But I think that I, I'm a big fan of collaboration. And I'll tell you why, because I feel like in business it can be so competitive, right?
Yes.
And competition, it just brings about a whole nother level of angst and uh just things to think about, and anxiety and stress and all of that sort of thing, right? And so in collaboration, there's not that so much, because we are working together for a common goal and we both are trying to win, right? Or however many folks we're talking about, right? Because it could be several folks that you collaborate with, not just one. So, well, tell me about business collaboration from your perspective and what that potentially could look like.
So I think, especially from the standpoint where I'm at with the um, small business community,
Mhm.
collaboration is absolutely essential. There's so many of us that are trying to serve a common purpose, but we all do it in different ways, right? So instead of looking at each other as competition, I think it's important to see us each other as a complement to what we provide as an organization. So whether that's Domi or for small businesses, if you've noticed, anytime there's a charity that's in need, a lot of local businesses come together, whether they're in the same industry or not, and they're sharing their resources and they're helping to provide for that particular need. And I think that is really what it comes down to, is helping people in the long run. And so you can only compete for so much, right? Like there's only so much of the pie that you can take. But when you collaborate and you can grow that pie from, a 4-piece pie to an 8-piece pie, like why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Like in my opinion, right? So like we can all have a bigger piece of the pie. It doesn't have to be those little tiny small ones from Publix, right? Like those little apple pies that are so delicious, right? Let's get a big apple pie and we can all eat from it, right? So yeah, I think it's really important that businesses in general collaborate. Again, yes, you're competitors, but and you may serve the same demographic to a certain degree, but not all your customers are the same, and you're all going to have a different purpose and mission in what you do and how you do it. And so collaborating one-on-one not only strengthens the ecosystem as a whole and creates more economic impact, but it provides more services to more people. And that's absolutely, what we're here to do.
Absolutely. I definitely believe that the internet and technology has made businesses reach more vast. And so where, maybe you were kind of relegated to a specific area, now, there are virtual meetings, or, you can, or virtual opportunities to provide certain services, not everything, of course, but certain services. And then, of course, we're mailing things now. There's so much online ordering for products. It's not even funny. It's putting some stores out of business, right?
Absolutely.
And so the world, our business opportunities have become global. And so there's so much room. You can't serve everybody in the world, right?
Right. I mean, and that's true. I think because there is just so much competition, like on a national and global level, like those in the same community can do a lot together.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, competition is tough out there. Competition is everywhere you look, whether it's your, neighbor down the street, or, it's some other business that's up in New York City or across the pond to London, right? We're all selling things. We all have different services that we can provide. And, who's to say one is better than the other? It really comes down to what the customer needs. And as long as we're fulfilling that, then, we've done our job.
Indeed. So we got Tracy Golay joining us here in Tallahassee. Thank you for joining us, Tracy. And Javon said, I think collaboration is also great because an idea can be enhanced. Yes. Love that.
100% agree.
So we are about halfway into our conversation. So for those of you who are just joining us on this Wellness Wednesday, I am talking with Mrs. Kara Holbert, and we are talking about what does business mentorship and collaboration look like. Kara is the executive director of Domi Station, which is a co-working space amongst other things. And so we have been talking about, as it relates to mentorship, how to identify a mentor. Maybe it could be somebody that works in the same sector as you, or somebody that has the skills that you are lacking. And there are a number of ways that you can identify these particular mentors and places. especially networking events, business networking events, and also just finding folks that are willing to assist and are kind of like-minded, and don't mind sharing their knowledge and expertise with you. And so we kind of moved on to collaboration and was just kind of talking about how, we much rather collaborate than compete. Right? Much rather do that.
Yes.
Yes. So what opportunities are there for collaboration at Domi?
So Domi in the last couple of years has really started to what's the best way to describe it? So, to make partnerships with other ecosystem partners, with others who are like-minded in the same mission and alignment with helping entrepreneurs in different cities and even different countries. Today I had a conversation with a lady up in New Jersey about a potential collaboration about helping Black businesses become, create generational wealth, right? And then we have local conversations that are happening as well. Domi Station recently was awarded a grant through a consortium. So this is a big word for a partnership with multiple other organizations in Tallahassee. So Capital City Chamber of Commerce, Big Bend Minority Chamber of Commerce, SBDC at FAMU, as well as Domi Station received a $4 million grant that's to help what they call SETI entrepreneurs, so socially economic disadvantaged individuals.
Okay.
Is a really big word for anyone who is, a minority, a woman, a veteran, disabled, right? So over the next 5 years, that program is going to roll out, and we have dubbed it a very large, long name, but it's the Florida Panhandle Capital Readiness Collaborative. And so over the next 5 years, we're going to branch out from, a few of our current counties that are close to us. So Wakulla County, obviously Leon, Jefferson County, Franklin,
Okay.
and Jefferson.
Okay.
And then we'll eventually branch out to a few other past that point within the 5 years. But, as an ecosystem who wants to support entrepreneurs, we all do very similar things, right? We all help entrepreneurs, but the way in which we do it is different, and the different the entrepreneurs that we serve may be different.
Right.
So we all have a place, right? So Domi's early stage. So if you're in the idea stage or you've recently launched, like, we might filter you over to where our program would fit you best. But if you're already an existing business who is maybe 3 years into it and you're like, look, I really want to branch out into this new market. How do I do that? How do I scale, right? We might send you to Capital City Chamber because they have a specific program that helps you with that. So we all have different programs and different spots that we hold for entrepreneurship. And so as a consortium, we're very excited to, really launch that here in the next couple of months so that we can continue to help people prosper and grow as a person and as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And I'm so glad to hear about this consortium, which is collaboration here in the Tallahassee area. So that's pretty exciting. Will there be, any more information come, as it relates to that, the specifics of that and how people can connect and join that?
Yes.
Okay.
So absolutely, we are, in talks and meeting frequently with as a group, and we are looking to launch essentially a landing page, right? So when you type into Google, I want to start a business or I want to grow my business, right? Hopefully we'll reach you. And you'll have a place where you can input your information, and based on that information, we'll filter you to the best program with the best organization that can fit those needs at the time. And then, of course, as you graduate through the different stages, we'll refer you to other programs as they seem to be the best fit for you.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna pull our viewers in for a moment. I got to ask questions. How many of you have participated in any business collaboration? And tell us, if you don't mind, a little bit about what that might have been. If you've participated in a business collaboration, and how was it for you? Was it a good experience? Was it a not so good experience? Was there something you learned from it? Something maybe that you would have done better, or it was better than maybe you anticipated that it was going to be. Let us know, if you don't mind, in the comments. Business collaboration, if you have participated in one, and how was it? What was that experience like? Just briefly, let us know. I would say that I participate in business collaborations all the time because I have folks that own businesses that are on my show, and my show is a business. And it's been great. I have met a lot of great people, and it has afforded me some really great opportunities, even outside of the shows, just being able to do other activities and events with folks. So I'm, again, all for it. And, I think, together we can achieve more, right? Team. Together, everyone achieves more. So I feel like if we can work together, we can do some great and wonderful things.
Yeah, I mean, business collaboration can really help to take your business to the next level. When you have the right people in place to support you and you just support them, there's amazing things that can happen. One example that I like to use a lot is we like to use them a lot because they're super popular here in Tallahassee, is Divvy Up Socks. So they, at the beginning of Domi's existence at the co-working facility, there were a group of FSU students that were working on a project where they had to come up with a business idea and basically, bring it to fruition, right? And they got, good grades on their thing. They're like, hey, this thing's actually working. Let's keep it going. And through their co-working here at Domi, they met and they're a multi-million-dollar company now that has a 50,000 square foot manufacturing facility here in Tallahassee. So they're still contributing to our overall economic impact here as a community as a whole, with, of course, the sales tax and, of course, the facilities and payroll taxes that they pay here. And, of course, all the awesome socks that they make, because you can customize them and put, like, your dog's face or, your face on it.
Yes. I have heard that success story about Divvy Up several times. And so that is really awesome. We had a few people that have chimed in. Maria said Women Wednesday at Domi. She's done collaboration. She said great experience. And we have my good friend Michael Cork on, who is here in Tallahassee, and he said I've collabed and have had good experiences. All right. So thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. So yeah, again, I think collaboration is key, and sometimes it can be a little maybe you can be a little apprehensive if you've not collaborated with this person before. And so, you definitely want to just see what the benefits could be, right? So if you were interested in collaborating with someone that you had not collaborated with before, or have not had maybe not a very close relationship with, business relationship with, any tips or suggestions or recommendations that you would give as it relates to that?
Yes. So, first and foremost, if it's someone that I've identified who has a certain skill set that I'm looking to learn more about, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever the case may be. If I will ask my inner circle, right? Like, do you know this person? Can you make an introduction for me? So that's usually the easiest, like, end, right? You find someone who already knows this person on a somewhat personal level. They can make an introduction. It's a little less awkward. You could do it at, a coffee shop, something like that, where, the environment and vibe is a little more relaxed. Um, but there's been times where I have just personally, it's awkward, I won't lie, just walked up to someone at a networking event or some other business oriented event where I was like, I want to meet this person. And I
Mhm.
just walk up and I'm like, hi, my name's Kara Holbert. I own this, I do this, da 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 da. I'm really impressed with your speech or whatever it may be, right? And I'd like to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you one day.
Mhm.
Super awkward. Do people turn me down sometimes? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Most of the time, though, I will say people are very open to it. So it's, like I said, a little awkward. Just go up and introduce yourself, but you just kind of have to make that jump sometimes, and introduce yourself, because you could be, waiting on the sidelines forever, waiting for someone else to do it for you.
Indeed. No, very great advice. So for those of you who are a little introverted or maybe a little nervous about, going out and putting yourself out there, you won't know until you try. So don't let that stop you. All right. So Johnny Johnson, he said, thanks for the introduction to the organization. Our pleasure, Johnny. That's what we're here for. And Michael Cork said, we've all collaborated, at least with utility company. LOL. Yes, every month. All right. And we got Mr. Ishmael Rentz, who's in Gainesville. He said, partnerships should be an aim for all entrepreneurs. Yes. Agreed, agreed, agreed.
Agree.
Yes, very much so. I think that in business, a lot of times, especially for entrepreneurs, we are very much so trying to do everything.
Right.
And when we talk about leveling up, we do need to bring some of the folks on board, right? And that could look like internships. It could
Mhm.
look like hiring someone. It could look like bartering, right? And so those.
Yeah, absolutely. Entrepreneurs and small business owners really wear all of the hats, especially when you're starting out. Unless you already have like a small group of people, but even then it's still divided to some degree and you're still taking on a lot of responsibility
Mhm.
and taking on a lot of learning that needs to be done to do the job well.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to, meet with other people who are like-minded and, out of those friendships and those mentorships, absolutely, they become collaborations. And from those collaborations, can become a co-founder. They can become, a W-2 employee for you. You
Mm,
could become a W-2 employee for them,
yeah.
right? However that works. But those, and a lot of those are bartering.
Mm,
We have definitely, as an organization, provide in-kind services to other organizations and vice versa. And that's a really great way to, minimize expenses, and still provide value to others and have others provide value to you at the
mhm.
most cost efficient way possible, right? You're not
Right.
having to pay them a salary or a contract fee.
Yeah.
You're providing some other service that you already have in hand. And hey, I'll provide marketing for you if you do XYZ, right? So it's a really, really great opportunity to minimize your overhead and stay in business longer.
Indeed, indeed. You want to try to minimize those expenses as much as you possibly can. All right. Quasi just chimed in and said he can testify that I have been both a great collaborator and facilitator in helping other businesses. Thanks a million. Oh, Quasi, you are so kind. My pleasure, my friend. My pleasure. So I'm going to ask you, we've been talking about mentorship, collaboration, but is there anything that you would suggest? Like if there's something that you see, because you deal with businesses, every day. Is there something that you see that entrepreneurs or startups are just, if they could just get these one, two, three, four, things, if there's something that they just are kind of overlooking, or maybe they get hung up on some things, what might those be? Just maybe two or three things that you might see on a regular.
Because I think when you first start out and, obviously you're just starting to generate revenue,
Mhm,
which is not a lot in the beginning, and you do everything yourself,
mhm,
um, you can isolate very quickly.
mm,
And so again, that's where mentorship comes into place, but it's not just mentorship. You need to get out there. You need to talk with people, but
mhm,
you know, don't do everything yourself if you don't have to.
mhm.
It can be very daunting because you don't necessarily know who to turn to. But like I said, there's a lot of organizations here in Tallahassee and beyond, you know,
Yeah.
that provide resources for entrepreneurs. And all you really need is that one person who you can talk to, right?
Mhm,
And help put you at ease. So number one, don't try to do everything yourself and don't isolate too much.
mhm.
It can become a habit very quickly if you let it. Trying to think what else.
What about systems? How important is it for entrepreneurs to develop systems, whether that's for operations or handling finances or
Yeah, and I was just kind of thinking about that is just, really coming up with processes that help you get through each day, right? So because you're wearing so many hats, it can be hard to kind of keep track of it all. So there's different methods out there, different systems that
Mhm,
you can use to kind of help keep yourself on track. Block scheduling is one of those that comes to mind immediately, things
mm,
like that. I personally use that in my own life. I try and block out, Mondays are only for this, right? Of course, things are going to come up that need to get handled regardless of your
right.
block schedule. But you don't schedule other things when that this is when I'm supposed to be doing this particular task and things like that. So yeah, coming up with certain processes and routines and
Mhm,
systems is very, I think, important in keeping you kind of going and making sure everything gets done. Like I said, obviously entrepreneurs do wear a lot of hats, and not all of those hats are your favorite. Okay,
yeah,
sometimes they look really ugly on you, and you don't want to wear it because you don't like it, but you still have to wear it, right? Because it has to be done. So the best way to do that is to make sure that there are processes in place that keep you motivated, keep you in routine, and keep you going. Because it's very easy after a while to just kind of put that hat aside and not wear it. And then you're
yeah.
like, oh, my taxes are due, or whatever the case may be.
Yes. We actually had a talk on Monday about, intentionality and goal setting, and, those, like, whew, tedious filler tasks, thankless tasks, all of that has to be done, right? And so, yeah, it's like getting excited about doing those things. I know as entrepreneurs, we want to do those things that we do, whether that's branding or cutting hair or teaching or baking cakes. We want to do that, not all of these other things that go
Right.
along with entrepreneurship, right?
So when you get to a point where you're generating enough revenue and you can hire other people to do that, like absolutely. But you got to do the work to get there, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. So we got Brother Kufu on with us. He said, "Hello, everyone. Great subject. I have been in the engineering construction industry for 59 years. I have been operating my construction business for over 43 years. My father was a builder and a farmer, and I love farming. Food and shelter are the basics of life. I have always used my knowledge, wisdom, and experience to work with people in these fields to help people in serving the Black community." Thank you, Brother Kufu. We appreciate you. He's right here in Tallahassee. I think that again, with technology, that also is something that we can utilize to help with some of those processes and systems. And so, as much as the more I think that we can automate, the better. That can help us use those tools to be able to do the things that we want to do. Um, but again, there's also a learning curve on all of that as well, right?
I mean, there is, but there's a lot of tools out there that are extremely user friendly, and free versions of it too. So of course, almost every app or platform that you come across has a paid version of some sort. But when you're first starting out, you can use those very easily to kind of help you keep organized or do certain tasks, especially if it's something that you're not very familiar with. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of accounting software that can help produce all these reports for you without you having to sit there and do the formula for each little thing, right? You just input some numbers and it spits out a very nice, pretty report for you to give to your bank loan officer or what have you.
Right.
There's a lot of project management, social media. I mean, we actually at Domi have a very long list of all of those. So I encourage you to come over to Domi and I'd be happy to share those with you. But yeah, technology can be your friend and a lot of it is very free or very reasonably priced. So I encourage people to use that as well.
Right. So low or no cost technology. Yes. All right. Well, we are very close to the end of our conversation. So I want to give you an opportunity to again mention the program that you talked about, the $4 million over 5 years, if you don't mind, as well as any closing remarks and how folks can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Domi Station is an incubator and co-working space here in Tallahassee. We provide education for early entry entrepreneurs through our program called Gear Up, which is a 6-month long program. We are actually recruiting people to apply for that right now. So please go to our website at domistation.org. We will be starting our next cohort in January, and we do have a number of scholarships available for those who need it. So I do encourage you to apply. But on top of that, we are part of a consortium with Capital City Chamber of Commerce, Big Bend Minority Chamber of Commerce, the SBDC at FAMU, which is a small business administration, and we will also include a couple of other universities later on the next couple of years. But we have been granted $4 million over the last for the next 5 years to provide entrepreneurship education and resources. So the ecosystem as a whole is growing, our partnerships are growing, and hopefully we'll be able to strengthen small businesses here in Tallahassee and beyond to become successful and to scale.
All right, very good. And Kara's information is at the bottom, domistation.org, and on IG at domistation. You can follow them and see what they have going on. Ishmael said, by partnering with us, SL Construction, a major contractor, Scanseka was able to build the FAMU School of Journalism. Nice.
awesome.
graphic
We
design.
love working with FAMU, and I personally know quite a few School of Journalism professors at FAMU, and they're all great people.
Okay.
I love
Nice,
to be with them there.
nice. Yeah, that is thank you for sharing that example of collaboration, Ish. And then he said, know that value can be brought to the table from both sides. Yes, indeed, it can. All right. So, again, please check out Domi. I know you all have, I'm sure, a full schedule of activities coming up for 2024.
We do. We do. So we have our cohort, of course, in late March, we'll have our Domi Awards. So that has been the largest attended event that we've had so far. And it's really just an awards gala that's going to celebrate entrepreneurs here in our community and the impact that they have. So I encourage everybody to look out for information on that. And of course, we always have First Fridays, except for January. So don't come January. We won't.
Okay.
But starting back in February, on the first Friday, we have a networking event from 5 to 7 that's open to the public, and they're welcome to come. So yeah, we encourage you all to come to any events that we have, and we'd be happy to meet with you.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you for being with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise about business mentorship and collaboration and on Domi. And also, just again, congratulations on your new position as executive director. Wishing you all the best. And again, y'all connect with them, reach out, especially if you are in need of some assistance with your business, because they are there as a resource here in Tallahassee for folks that are, again, startups or just are thinking about starting up or are seasoned. You can be in various phases of business, and there is something that Domi can assist you with. So I hope you all have found this to be beneficial. If you have, let us know in the comments. For those of you who are new to the platform, I definitely invite you to subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. We are here on Mondays and Wednesdays live at 8:30 p.m., focusing primarily on mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities, but also just overall. So business wellness is part of wellness. So on this Wellness Wednesday, we have been talking about business. So again, I hope it has been useful. And let's keep this conversation going, because there's some businesses out there that could probably benefit from the things that we spoke about today, and could benefit from what Domi has to offer. So please share this with someone. And again, let's keep this conversation going.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome. I also want to announce that tomorrow I'm having a special broadcast at 6 p.m. with Mr. Michael. Oh, Michael, I can't think of his last name right now, but he is with Indelible Solutions, Indelible Impacts. They are hosting Holiday on the Hill at FAMU this coming Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is a free holiday giveaway. I mean, they're going to have food, music, a resource fair, photos with Santa, DJ Demp, DJ Little Boy, Tallahassee Nights Live, comedian Titan Mike. So it's going to be a whole vibe. So it's free, open to the public. They'll be giving away food with Second Harvest, like a food distribution. So you definitely, if you're in Tallahassee, want to come out and participate in this event. So they are getting the holiday kicked off on the Hill, on FAMU. The owners of this, the founders of this organization, both are FAMU alum. And so the entire community is invited to come out and participate. So tell your friends to come and be a part of Holiday on the Hill, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. At FAMU. But I will be talking to Mr. Michael tomorrow at 6 p.m. and you can ask questions and find out more about that event. All right, good people. This has been great again. Kara, I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
All right, good people. We will see y'all next time. Have a good one. Bye.